Today we're going to be doing the Tunisian crossed stitch, and we're going to begin with a slip knot. And I'm using an Afghan hook. This one is a 6mm hook, and you can use whatever size you want to get the size stitches you're looking for. For this stitch, your multiple will be a multiple of 2 plus 1. So for my sample piece, I'm going to do 16. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. So I'm doing 16 for my multiple of 2, and then add 1 more. And we are ready to begin. Row 1 is done the same as all the other ones. You're going to skip that first stitch and work into the second stitch from the hook. I'm going to be working in these back bumps behind the stitches, or you can work through one of the loops on the regular stitch, on the front of the stitch. But for this piece, I like to work in the back loops. So you will insert your hook, grab your yarn, bring up your loop, keeping all of your loops on the hook for the remainder of the row. So insert your hook, grab your yarn, bring up a loop. And you'll do this all the way down the chain. And here I've completed row 1 all the way down the chain. All my loops are on the hook and ready to begin row 2. And row 2 will be just like all the other stitches. You'll grab your yarn, pull through just that first loop, grab your yarn and pull through 2 loops. Grab your yarn, pull through 2. And you'll do this for the remainder of the row. Grab your yarn, pull through 2. You'll just keep going until you've reached the end of row 2. Almost to the end here. Grab yarn, pull through 2. And you'll get to those last 2, and you'll grab your yarn and pull through those last 2. Row 3 will begin your repeating rows. So we always skip this first loop. And for row 3, you're going to skip this one, go into that the third one to begin. And you just go under that vertical bar that's closest to you. Grab your yarn and bring up your loop. Then you're going to come back to this one that we skipped. Insert your hook under that vertical bar, grab your yarn, and bring up your loop. And there's your first crossed stitch. So now we're going to move on to the next 2. You're going to skip this one, go under the next, bring up your loop, and then come back to the one you skipped. Go under that bar and bring up your loop. Moving on to the next one, we're going to skip this one, go under this one, bring up the loop, and then go back to the one you skipped. And bring up your loop. And you'll continue to do this all the way to the end of row 3. And here I'm coming to the end of row 3. I want to keep my edge nice and straight so it matches the other side. So for these last 2 stitches, I'm just going to do the basic Tunisian. So go under, bring up your loop, and then for this final stitch, we're going to go under both of those loops and bring up the loop. And that is row 3. Row 4 will be just like with row 2. You're going to grab your yarn, go under that first loop, grab your yarn, and then pull through 2. Grab your yarn, pull through 2. All the way across. Grab yarn, pull through 2. And you'll just keep going until you get to the end of row 4. And then from this point on, to continue, you'll repeat rows 3 and 4 until you've reached the length that you want for your pattern. Here I've done a few more rows, repeating rows 3 and 4, ending with row 4. And to finish off your work, so that way this edge matches all the other ones, you're going to do the basic stitch but doing a slip stitch. So you're going to skip that first bar, go under the next one, grab your yarn and do your slip stitch. Move to the next bar and do your slip stitch. And you'll continue to do that all the way across, and then it'll give you a nice clean edge that will match up with the other sides. You can see this edge now flows really nice with the other side. And you can see the difference instead of having all these bumpy edges. And the back of your work is pretty similar to the other stitches. You got those raised bumps on the back. And there you go.